welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back.
Hello, we're back with Layback with Betfair. Liam Clancey, Tom Haylock joining you. Liam, how are you, mates?
Good. It's the season for Christmas parties. So not only do we have Thursday twilight, Friday evening, Saturday racing, so we've got plenty of action. So there's plenty of form the last few days.
Friday evening, the big cards, Morfettville, Moonee Valley, Sunshine Coast, Kensington or Canterbury, Sydney. Lots of racing, lots of form, lots of Christmas parties. It's been wild. Hope everyone's feeling a bit better than Liam and I after last night at Caulfield. Who was best on at the Christmas party, Liam?
The ones that I were there for, I think probably the man that doesn't get many plaudits behind the camera in here, Harry Stanley, was he was in fine form. The Smirnoff Ice cans were going down thick and fast.
I tell you what, we had a layback celebratory dinner and he was definitely best on ground that night. He felt pretty rough the next day.
He's in strong form.
So, early lay-bid nomination. The red wine got to him. Who was best on ground at the golf course?
Locke was very, very good.
Yeah, I heard that.
It was hard to beat. I thought we were 4 down coming in with about 6 to play. Got back to square with 1 to go. Locke pulled out a very nice 4-iron from about the 190 mark.
Clutch.
Hard to beat.
That was a great approach shot. There you go. Any lay-bins this week?
Not for me. I'm going to let you handle it.
Oh, hangovers. They can go on the lay-bin. Not much more. Tyler Schiller stopped riding the other day. Did you say that?
Yes.
There was a bit of talk about that.
Yes, he did stop riding.
Yes. Anyone that didn't think he stopped riding, it wouldn't have changed the result, which I agree with, but he definitely stopped riding and wasn't as vigorous.
Well, I think one thing you can't argue with is that he stopped riding.
100%.
I can argue that the result may have changed.
You can argue that.
Yeah,
I
can see either side of that. But he obviously stopped riding.
Yeah, that's.
But you know what? He's a gun jock that I love following, so I won't be holding any grudges.
He might be out to prove a few people wrong and bounce back. We've got Ascot, Damien Oliver's last ride, $1.5 million race. We'll get to that first. We've got a couple at Caulfield to touch on, and we'll go through most races at Randwick as well. Not a bad meeting there. Start with Ascot, Liam. Race 9, Damien Oliver Gold Rush, 1,400 metres. What a good race. Dom to shoot. I'm never going to forget that name after I declared Zaki last week and Dom to shoot.
Was Zaki close?
What do you mean? I still haven't watched the replay. I don't want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I were you.
I still maintain, I'm like $1.70 was a bit facetious, a bit over the top, but I'd have that bet every day of the week at $2.60, $2.70.
Yeah.
If a race was run next week, I'd have the same bet. I still think it was a good price.
Yeah, well, I mean, $2.70 suggests that you're winning, maybe 37% of races, 36, and he's been beaten half a lip. So I think you probably would take $2.60, $2.70 in those scenarios.
There you go. Well, he goes around. 7-2XL looks the leader. Redcam Man, Massimo are right up there as well. Who are you with in Ollie's last race, mate?
Oh, I'd love to be with Ollie. Jeez, he's been given the visitors draw going back to the west, hasn't he? I think it's drawn 17. Very unlucky. Going well, the horse. I'd love to have him in there. I've got Valor Road on top, another that's drawn right out in 16. Putting together a great work of form. They're 4 and 5 weeks between runs, so there's queries there. Dom to shoot, flying, 1,800 back to 1,400, which I know a lot of the horses in this race are.
It's an interesting setup, though.
I just find it a really difficult race. Super Mink was one that I would have liked to make the field because I think at the weight for age down at 52 kilos would have given the race a great shake. But Valor Road on top with no confidence. What about yourself?
What do you make of Ayrton here?
Ayrton is one that I'm more than happy to take on here. Has to be a lay at the $7, $7.50. Even the ratings that he's been running in Melbourne, that win first up was a rating that every other horse is basically running in this field over in the west.
Yeah,
and Ayrton has to make the trip. Right,
that wasn't a good race. No. The horse that ran third there came out and struggled in a Sale Cup since. So first up race and win. It was first up and probably had a lot of improvement. He just did what he needed to do. I'm with him, but low confidence race for me. Yeah, I found the WA form really hard to dissect. As you mentioned, a couple coming back in trip, backing up and whatnot. He was very good in that Damien Oliver race. Last race on Derby Day, he went back a slowly run race. He ran a really good section, was there. And then, so he ran the fastest 10.8.642 there. Riding was on the wall. Then he went to a Group 1, Rupert Clark, and arguably runs top 2 or 3 there. He doesn't beat the winner, but had no luck at all. His sectionals were still fine. I just think he brings a different form. He maps okay. Best rider in the country at the moment, almost in lane, jumps on board. It's a solid push. So if I was to have a bet, it might be on Ayrton, but low confidence race like you, Liam.
We have a Palmer bet on Ayrton to place.
What price did he place? Yeah, maybe at $2.50 to place. We can do that. Yeah, top 4.
Top 4. I'll give you that.
Top 4, even money?
Yep, done.
Done. Randwick. Let's get there. Not a bad day in Sydney. The weather looks okay. They're only out 4. I think the running line should be all right.
It's glorious. 31 degrees, I think.
Might head back up. Field of 9 to kick things off. Liam, I don't know if you've had a look at this.
No, this is what we've had. 4 of the 9 listed have had starts. 5 maideners. 5 on debut. Talk us through it.
Yeah, very disappointed Traffic Warden's out. Didn't give Traffic Warden much of a chance and was taking up a good market percentage. This Amazing Eagle, very short price favourite, probably deservedly so. Ran 53.61, I think, in a try. It was an unbelievable performance. Loved the turn of foot, loved the professionalism, led, was really strong through the line. Ran over a second quicker than a Node, who trialled really nicely, but ran a second quicker. So over those shorter trips and in those trials, that's an amazing performance, really fast time, rightly short price. I don't know whether I want to dive into $1.55, but he looks a very nice horse. We've got Moonraker here, who opened up $20, I thought was a bit of value now, obviously after the scratchings and been well found. But the horse that he ran second to, came out 1 at Wyong, is the one that beats Bywire. And this horse trialled just as well, if not better than the winner there. So a nice horse there for the Harran Bloodstock Moonraker. There's a bit in this race. It's not a bad race. Even Tardelli looks talented. I've clearly got Amazing Eagle on top. Just a short price. $1.75 I could probably take. So there you go to kick things off.
What price to lay?
What price lay?
Yeah.
I'm too scared. I could lay him at $1.45.
Okay. Yep. So we need to shorten right up.
Yeah, I've got him marked somewhere around that $1.55, $1.60 mark, but he's a debutant at the end of the day. So if he gets out at $1.75, some of these do find some funny drifts and stuff late and still win. So we'll see what the market there on Betfair does with Amazing Eagle. Number 1 looks a talented horse. Race 2, you're keen to play in. I haven't had a close look at race 2, 3, 4 and 5 yet, but you're keen to play in a few?
Yeah, it's not a bad race, this one. Not with any strong confidence, but I think Awesome Lad gets a bit of an easy lead here. And Socrates gets a really great run outside, like either sits outside or sits right behind. And I think with that sort of setup, Socrates at what are we, at record, we're sitting at $11. So yep. I think that's a really nice each way play there. I've got him marked $7.50. Had a fantastic ride last start, and just I think Rachel King gets to sit right up on speed again here. If it matches that rating, get in around $7 or $8, and I think at $11 is a good way to kick off the program for me.
She's riding supremely well. Rachel King had a winner in Hong Kong, come back and riding sensationally. So not the worst jockey there to be on something you like. Race 3, 1400 metre race. You keen to play as well?
Race 3 I've had a good look at, but Mont Felicity is one that I wanted to get a bit of a feel for you on, because trialled superbly well.
Yeah, it did try well.
I think this might just be one run too early. The 1400 obviously has shown best form previously over the 18, 1900. So maybe one too early, but what are we getting early? But $20 or something like that. Into 15 now.
Barrier Breeze is out, so you're getting a bit of a deduction there. Barrier 1 first up, 14 is a little concern for me. We'll need luck. I'd rather it be sweeping in the outside. Did trial well. David Payne's not a go-to first up trainer either. I like him maybe back in distance or deeper into campaigns, but yeah, trial well.
One to follow through.
Yep, keep an eye on that. You keen to play in the Highway, race 5?
Yeah, not exactly a race that I normally love playing in.
Has been a big week for you.
But I think this is a non-highway horse, this one.
Yeah, smart horse.
In a highway. So Emperor, 1,000 metres first up after the gelding operation was absolutely dynamic. I think it was on Cup Day.
Yep.
has been entered since and then scratched. I just think this horse is well above highway grade. Got marked $1.60 and we're getting even money on the exchange now, so I'm happy to play there.
Is that just the barrier? You're getting a better price?
I think so. And I think Nash is the man you want on board from out there.
Don't mind that. At least he's going to get clear running. Well, be too good for him. He's not going to be buried away. You'd rather that than one.
Yeah, and you saw in that first up performance, he was buried away for a long time. Finally got out late in the straight and absolutely brained him. So Nash on board gives me plenty of confidence. Florino is the one that I actually backed in that Bandy's Boy race on Cox Plate Day. And extremely disappointing. Has gone back to the trial since and trialled really well again. So we're getting $11 there. That's the only horse that I'm slightly worried about in the field. I still don't think that he's up to Emperor's level. So I think you take the even money, and then if anyone's worried late, well, you can have a little bit on Florino, but Emperor in the highway.
There you go. Race 6. Have you had a close look at this?
I have not.
I've got a decent opinion of one here. And I like the race. Now, it looks a bit of speed. Amnesty shown speed in the past. Racing New South Wales got it mapped 3 deep midfield. Could work over. Follow Boston Rocks potentially over. Marshall Music will be close for Barry 2 as well. And King of Dubai's got a bit of speed. So there looks enough pressure here. I really like the setup here for Union Army. Trialled the house down first up off a bleed. No doubt ready to roll here first up. Got an SP... right in the market the last few, but got an SP profile against Iron American Caboo that suggests he's a good horse, and he did bleed on that occasion, so excuses there. Colette Barrier 1, that's his happy place. He just hunts the fence there. So I'm happy to be with Union Army. I think it's a really nice play, getting each way price, and first up off a bleed's a nice little tip for people because they will have him ready.
I absolutely love those horses coming back off either the bleeds, the EIPH, and even the respiratory issues, any sort of thing like that people just put a pen through, and you sometimes get an inflated price. So I like that, mate.
There you go. That is Union Army race 6, number 6, one of my better bets on the program. I don't think we're keen to play race 7, are we?
Nothing for me.
Let's head to race 8. You've had a look at this too, I believe.
Yep, I've had a small look at this race. Byron goes to the front. I think there's enough speed because you've got Famous Padrille and Felix Majestic both coming from the outside, and Plundering's able to take up a spot right under them. There's a couple I'm keen to play in this race. Firstly, Plundering, back on a drive, big plus here. I got marked around the $4 mark. I think he'll be very hard to beat. Crafty Eagle going well, but around about market price.
Yep.
And the one that I'm keen to spec at big odds is first up Vintage Choice, the other Annabelle Neesham runner.
Interesting.
Has trialled really nicely. A horse that I had plenty of time for last prep. Keen to see what he can do this preparation, and at a big price, happy to spec there.
Let's talk about Vintage Choice. I agree with you. I had an opinion. Always trials well, this horse. I was disappointed with the last campaign. I expected Vintage Choice to be working through the grades. I know off a win. Which is a positive. I like horses spelling off a win, so that's a good sign. But yeah, I just thought he was a little bit disappointing last campaign.
Well, it depends on what you're comparing to, because
I just thought he had more ability than he showed on the racetrack.
Yeah, well, his absolute best rating in Australia so far is still 3.5 lengths inferior to his best rating over in the UK. So, I mean, if you're judging him by UK form, then absolutely he's been disappointing so far. And
his trials. He looked like a horse that would work through the grades and be competitive in group races.
Yep. Having said that, I think another prep under the belt with Annabelle coming to the races now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big jump.
I agree. I'm wary. Very wary. Trial well, as you said. So keep a close eye on Vintage Choice, bit of value there. I'm also finding one first up at a bit of value in Miracle Spin. Trialled very nicely on December 5, over 1,030 metres. He was trialled a bit further last campaign, built into his work nicely. He ran consecutive seconds in Benchmark 78 company after running really, really nicely in 2 midways coming from well back. It's all about whether 1,400 metres is too short for him today, but I'm convinced he's a nice horse, convinced he's going well. Blinkers on first time, probably mitigates that 1,400 metre concern a little bit. Colette, and he's a go-to jockey on the day. Adds a bit of intrigue, and you're getting $13 to find out. So I am having something Miracle Spin. I'm a little bit wary. I'll probably save or have something small, Vintage Choice as well. There for me. Race 9. Anything you like, race 9?
Race 9 I'm leaving to you. There's a lot of first up horses here. First up 1,000 metres. Plenty of trialers coming out of this.
Yeah, just one I'm keen to be against, and forced to be against something for the show. I found it hard to find something I was really keen to lay, but I am laying Dollar Magic here. I'm just against at the $4.80, $5 mark. Looks short enough, back to 1,000 metres, never won over 1,000. Not really go-to jockey of mine, Reece Jones. I know he's riding okay at the moment, but yeah, I think there's enough horses first up that already show something and work through their grades and have a bit more ability than Dollar Magic. So I'm just against Dollar Magic if I'm finding one to lay there, mate.
So how much do you read into the fact that it's gone third, second? Is there such a thing as non-winners who just don't like finding the post?
There is.
Or are they running well, and running well translates to winning races?
That's a good question. It's about how each horse is different. Some horses are pack chasers, and by nature, horses are. Like, you see them run around the paddocks and they chase packs. Some of them like being in front of the packs, some of them like being backmarkers, some of them don't like going past other horses. You see that time and time again with horses. Some have shorter sprints and just die on their run, and they get called milk drinkers or non-winners because it's the nature of the horse. This horse is trying. I think he's trying. I just think he's found one better, but it comes into consideration as well. He hasn't won a race for some time now. He hasn't won a race this prep. He continues to run well. 1,000 metres, they might be trying something here. He's back in trip and he's just found a couple stronger late. She has. So, yeah, she's a mare in form, but just a little concern. And think something like Time to Boogie, trialling really nicely. Squad's trialled well. They have a bit more upside, in my opinion. So, against Dollar Magic at the price.
Like it.
Race 10. Have you had a look at race 10?
I have. One of the more interesting races on the Randwick card for mine. Show High probably goes to the front here. Delalat, the other one, who will probably sit outside. Show High is an interesting horse in itself. I was pretty keen first up Derby Day and had trialled phenomenally well. And some of those hidden trials where it sort of sits back, runs through the line well, doesn't necessarily have a first or second on the trial, but has trialled extremely well. So I was keen to find, and then was really disappointed that day. I thought she was actually quite weak late.
Yep.
Didn't show that turn of foot that she'd showed in the trial. So I'm really wary of her, and I've got her marked right around the market, so I won't be losing if she wins the race.
Yep.
Keen to be with a couple and against a few, so I'll be taking on Junqueira in the race, who just tends to do so much wrong, falls out of the barriers a lot of the time, and then likes to get back in running. So happy to oppose there. Grace the Styler is another one that I'm keen to take on. First up for the Waller Yard, generally they're going to get better. First up, Blinkers off here.
Yep.
Nothing that I would generally not love backing on those circumstances. And Smashing Eagle, a horse that also does a lot wrong. It's probably still being priced off that win, maybe 6 starts back, when cruised through the field and looked really good, but just doing so much wrong ever since then.
Yep.
So against all of them, and the ones that I really like Contemporary. Back to dry, really perfect here. He's overdue a win. Was rated right down last start, back in the field with Your Blessing, was just off and gone on that heavy 8 at Kembla, and now gets his opportunity to be back. Tyler Schiller on board. He's going to get the win for us. Ran on strongly behind that Gustissimo.
Yes, good for me.
Which was a really good race. So I think Contemporary, the main bet. Dalalat finds himself in a really nice spot and at double figures or close to. Happy to have a bet there, and then it'll be saving on Show High, and then we'll be laying Junqueira, Gracilla Styler, Smashing Eagle.
Could be a real hamburger with a lot in the last there, mate. Against a few and backing a few, so I like that. I'm more against Contemporary than with Contemporary. Just Godolphin deep prep, now 4th up. It's a little concerned back marker potentially. I know. He might be wanting further as well, so I like backing horses that settle on speed. Last race, just a little theory I've got. I'm very bullish Show High here. I'm glad to hear your points. Disappointing first up, but tongue tie goes on, so suggests had a little issue there. Trials were enormous before that. I'm giving him another chance. Giving her another chance, and I think she maps nicely. She'll be up on speed. So up on speed last, forgiving a first up run. She wasn't beaten all that far, but gets the gear change. Tim Clark, positive for me. Like the jockey booking, suits the horse. Very bullish, Show High. So
like it.
One of my better bets on the program, mate. Maybe just up your bet and have a little win if she wins the last there instead of just saving. So Show High for me. They're my best 2 at Randwick, probably Union Army and Show High. Your better bets at Randwick?
You caught me on the hop.
Oh, sorry,
Emperor.
mate.
Emperor's going to be best of the day there in the highway. And I think Plundering Vintage Choice Race 8.
Lovely. Good luck. Let's get to Caulfield. You've had a look at races 2 and 4 before we wrap up, mate. You're pretty keen to play?
Yeah, the 2,400 metre race 2 is benchmark 100. It's actually probably one of the best on the card.
Bizarre.
And so it's up nice and early. We're 12:45, so make sure your bacon and egg rolls are well and truly consumed by this stage.
Why is it race 2?
Hey, if you're trying to ask me to get inside the minds of those who schedule the racing, I've got absolutely no idea. But,
It's like when Group 1s aren't part of the quaddie and stuff like that. It's, does your head in. Anyway, find the winner for us.
Yeah, there's a horse that I've backed the last 3 starts is Grand Piero. I think the horse is going really well. Just didn't handle the slightly wet track last start. Gets back on dry ground here. Barrier 1 can sit really nice and close in a race that doesn't have a heap of tempo, and was flying before that last start flop in the wet. I think $6 was first bet into about $4.80 now. I still think that's value. Grand Piero the one to take out of race 2.
Loomed up last start, and as you said, just the wet track. Just that was a concern.
Just the wheels looked like they were spinning.
Yeah. Let's get to race 4, benchmark 78 over 1,400 metres. The last race we'll cover here. We've got number 8 running by a favourite. Are you with her or against her?
I am with her. I think she's probably going to be the hardest to beat on the card at Caulfield. Was that really nice race behind South of Houston last start. That was first up. Builds up to 1,400 today. Ready to win. I think the 240 that we're currently getting is fair. I think 250, 260 on the exchange is a treat. Hard to beat. Rumbled again with Carleen in the saddle is the horse that I'm most worried about. But I think Running By's got a bit of a mortgage on this race.
Talk to me about the jockey, Dylan Brown McMonigal. Now, knocked me off at Caulfield on Thursday night, coming up the fence there. It was a good ride. You know much about this tree?
That was against Steel Blaster, wasn't
it?
Yeah, same. Knocked me off as well.
Yeah. You were very bullish, Steel Blaster. That was sick.
I was, yeah. Would have just been nice if Geordie Charles kept him locked on the fence for a bit longer.
Yeah, exactly right.
I don't know much about this guy, but I've actually found him in quite a few races over the last week, and it's nice to see him getting a few more rides. So I'm going to trust that he's there to win. And when I actually look back at his last 50 rides back overseas, I think from about races 25 to 50, there were a stack of winners in there. So he's doing the right thing overseas and hopefully has a bit of luck starting to get a few more rides here.
There you go. Liam with Running By in race 4 at Caulfield. Who's your lay of the day, mate, for the lay streak?
Oh, well, if you're with Ayrton, I might as well be against him. So
was that set up? Or?
No, it wasn't set up. That was just who I like to find over there. I think with the travel and then the ratings, I just don't have nearly high enough to be close to favourite over there in the West. I would love to see Ollie go out on top in his own named race. But either way, I'll be laying Ayrton the win for the lay streak. But of course, I'll be laying the place against you as well.
Love that, mate. Palmer on top 4. Mine is Dollar Magic, short enough back to 1,000 metres there. If I'm forced, I found it hard to find a confident lay. Anything else to add, mate?
That's it for us today, mate. I think worth mentioning next week we'll be doing a Sunday record.
Yes, Boxing Day races.
Boxing Day races.
It's going to be huge. Then we've got Australia Day, so we're still working throughout, keeping you guys... True, hopefully finding a few winners for everyone out there. We'll see how we go and a few losers that we're laying. Have a good Christmas. If you're not watching next week, we'll be on the air Sunday afternoon ahead of Christmas, mate. But safe travels. I won't see you much after this, so enjoy Christmas. And
same to you. We'll be recording online next week, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in to Layback with Betfair.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.